Before him, a thin line appeared out of thin air, resembling a blood thread. Upon its emergence, it seemed capable of tearing apart space itself. As Qin Shui surged forward, the thin line howled, rushing directly towards the arm that was being retracted. Boom! A deafening explosion echoed as Qin Shui neared the arm, launching a relentless barrage of attacks. The sound of the impacts was deafening, especially the thin thread. Every time it flickered, the arm trembled. Wong Lin, witnessing this, sucked in a sharp breath. Sitting cross-legged in the moon gaze bone, he clenched his teeth and suddenly sprang to his feet, turning into a blur as he rushed forward. I, Wong Lin, walk between heaven and earth. Though not a virtuous gentleman, Qin Shui has shown kindness to me. In his current frantic state, I cannot stand idly by. Qin Shui appeared to have lost his mind, roaring as he launched his attacks. The scene caused the golden dragon to narrow its eyes, and even Elder Mu gasped. He now understood why the clan's Grand Elder had warned him not to provoke Qin Shui. Wudong Chan's expression shifted as he focused on Qin Shui, especially on the thin thread in front of him, his mind shaken. In the midst of his attack, Qin Shui's right eye exploded with a loud bang, scattering flesh and blood forward. The extreme realm forces all surged, striking the arm. With a loud crash, the arm trembled, and the mystic treasure elder, who had been holding on, was loosened by the shock. The golden dragon, who had been observing the battle, flashed its eyes and, without a second thought, charged toward the mystic treasure elder. Its massive body swung its tail, striking at Qin Shui. The arm with the moon gaze aura stretched out its fingers once more, but this time, it reached for Qin Shui. Qin Shui's right eye was a mess of blood and flesh, but his left eye radiated a red glow, revealing madness. He formed a hand seal with his right hand, pointing forward. Immediately, the wind's summoning art enveloped him, and from the black winds emerged 8 roaring black dragons. The 8 black dragons, second only to Bai Fan's 9 dragons of wind summoning, were exponentially more powerful than the previous 7. The 8 wind dragons roared as they charged towards the mystic treasure elder's primordial spirit. They did not destroy him but instead swept through, raising a storm that left the mystic treasure elder extremely weakened. His primordial spirit was on the brink of collapse. The 8 black wind dragons formed a wind sealing sigil around him, continuously sealing his spirit, rendering the mystic treasure elder unconscious as he was drawn toward the vortex entrance. Just as the mystic treasure elder's primordial spirit was about to be sucked into the vortex, Wong Lin shot out from within, grabbing the mystic treasure elder's spirit and quickly retreating, re-entering the vortex and charging away. The scene unfolded like a flowing river, with no hesitation. Qin Shui's divine abilities spread, and Wong Lin's every step was perfectly synchronized with them. Just before leaving, Wong Lin saw a glimmer of trust in Qin Shui's left eye, amidst the madness. Senior brother Qin Shui, I will do my best. Wong Lin emerged from the vortex, throwing the mystic treasure elder's primordial spirit into his storage pouch without hesitation. Without a second thought, his third eye on his forehead suddenly opened, and in the blink of an eye, he turned back. The primordial force in his third eye radiated in a fan-shaped red light, aiming at the vortex. The golden dragon, roaring, immediately changed direction. Its speed was so fast that it quickly neared the vortex entrance and plunged inside. Upon emerging, the golden dragon collided head-on with the red light from Wong Lin's third eye. Its body shook as it sensed a force within the red light that startled it. However, this power was too weak to pose any real threat. The feeling from the depths of its mind was unmistakable. Its enormous body faltered for a moment. Wong Lin, upon seeing the massive dragon head, was shaken. The immense pressure from such close proximity caused him to gasp. Taking advantage of the momentary pause, he dove into the flesh wall behind him, moving at full speed. He didn't go downward, but instead shot upward with incredible speed. As he fled, Wong Lin made hand seals, sensing the traps he had previously left around him. A cold, sinister expression appeared on his face. The golden dragon, with its massive body, moved far faster than Wong Lin, easily passing him by. To it, Wong Lin was nothing more than an insignificant insect, a mere crawler. Yet, this insect had dared to steal the mystic treasure elder's primordial spirit right in front of it. This was a violation of divine will. Killing this insect would require no effort. As it pursued, the golden dragon roared in fury. Roar. The roar contained immense primordial force, and upon its release, the flesh wall ahead of Wong Lin shook violently. As Wong Lin fled, he staggered, spitting blood, but without any pause, he used the force of the impact to accelerate and push forward even faster. Explode. Wong Lin gritted his teeth, his primordial spirit shaking. If not for his ancient god physique, the previous attack would have shattered him instantly. Even now, he still felt excruciating pain radiating through him. But there was no fear in him. As he muttered the command, the flying swords hidden in over 10 sensitive spots within the moon gaze body suddenly erupted with a deafening explosion. The sound of bang-bang suddenly echoed, and within the body of the moon-gazing beast, there were a few spots that were extremely sensitive. While they wouldn't cause any direct injury, if these spots were struck with force, they would immediately bring unbearable pain to the moon-gazing beast. Such intense pain would send the moon-gazing beast into a frenzy of anger. However, finding these sensitive spots within the colossal body of the moon-gazing beast was nearly impossible for anyone. Even if they were accidentally affected, the impact would be minimal. Except for Wong Lin. Especially now, as almost all the sensitive spots inside the moon-gazing beast body were being assaulted by the self-explosion of the flying sword. The pain it caused was just as severe as when the moon-gazing beast was previously injured. In the dark void, the massive body of the moon-gazing beast was drifting aimlessly, but at this moment, it suddenly shook violently. Its body trembled intensely as an enraged roar erupted from within. Inside the moon-gazing beast, an earth-shattering change occurred. As the creature writhed, its endless flesh walls squeezed and expanded, shaking as though the very universe was being overturned. Roar. The moon-gazing beast let out another roar. This time, its body stretched out, its mouth opening wide. As the writhing speed increased, it seemed as if it was about to expel everything inside its body. A powerful shockwave shot out from its mouth immediately. At that moment, Wong Lin, who was fleeing inside the moon-gazing beast, saw the golden dragon closing in on him. But suddenly, his body was engulfed by the shockwave. Without hesitation, it propelled him upwards with incredible speed, tearing through the layers of flesh walls that opened up above, connecting directly to the moon-gazing beast's mouth. It wasn't just Wong Lin. The golden dragon, too, was uncontrollably pushed by the shockwave. Similarly, within the narrow tunnel of the vortex, Qin Shui was locked in a fierce battle with a massive arm. In an instant, his body was involuntarily blasted upwards, following the flesh walls. Neither Elder Imu nor Wu Dongchan could escape this fate. All of them were swept up by the shockwave, their bodies being pushed through cracks and out into the void. The roar of the moon-gazing beast echoed endlessly through the dark void. From its wide-open mouth, an endless shockwave shot out. In the blink of an eye, the golden dragon was the first to be expelled. Next came Wong Lin. Then Qin Shui, Elder Imu, and Wu Dongchan were all expelled in turn, landing in the void. As soon as Wong Lin was ejected, without thinking, he sealed all his primordial energy and immortal essence in hopes of slowing the dissipation and suppression of his powers. However, it had no effect. The moment he merged into the void, he immediately felt his energy rapidly draining away, as layers of invisible seals fell upon him. The same happened to his immortal essence. Only the ancient god physique contained within him, infused with the immense power of the ancient god, remained unaffected. Wong Lin remained calm, quickly retreating. It wasn't just him. The golden dragon, Elder Imu, and the others were also affected by the widespread suppression and dissipation of their energy. Clearly, these individuals knew well the peculiarities of this place. Almost immediately, they activated their divine abilities. 3 purple wooden strips floated around Elder Imu's body, and though his face turned pale as his primordial energy dissipated, it slowed down the process, though it couldn't stop it entirely. The golden dragon, similarly, flickered with an invisible light on its body, struggling to resist, but compared to Elder Imu, it was much weaker. Wu Dongchan was the least affected. A massive bubble surrounded his body, isolating him from the surroundings. However, the bubble was also dissipating, requiring him to constantly channel his primordial energy to sustain it. As for Qin Shui, he simply waved his right hand, using the prison of the land to resist the shock. However, even that wouldn't hold for long. In contrast, Wong Lin seemed the most at ease. He paid no attention to his dissipating primordial energy. Instead, he clenched his fists, focused on the golden dragon, and sneered coldly. But he didn't act rashly. As he continued to retreat, he silently thought, "This isn't the best moment yet. I'll wait a bit longer." Just as the others were ejected, the roar of the moon-gazing beast echoed again. A vortex appeared in its eyes, and gradually, a figure emerged from within. It was none other than Ji Xiantian. However, Ji Xiantian's eyes were dull, occasionally flashing with signs of struggle. But moments later, a sharp screech erupted from his mouth as his body flew out from the vortex in the moon-gazing beast's eyes. Wong Lin's pupils contracted, But in the next moment, a gleam of light shot from his eyes. His heart raced faster. In that instant, with his ancient god physique, he sensed the aura of an ancient god emanating from Ji Xiantian. In his mind, he immediately recalled a memory of 2C. This was a divine ability that only a mature ancient god could wield. This Ji Xiantian has the mark of an ancient god star within him. If I absorb him, I can gain a portion of the ancient god's power inheritance. The ancient god puppet formed by the fusion of the ancient god star is on an entirely different level compared to an ordinary first-star ancient god in terms of power. After all, Ji Xiantian's first star comes from an 8-star ancient god. The moment the thunderous explosion echoed, Ji Xiantian's figure had already appeared next to the golden dragon. He unleashed a punch that shook the entire body of the golden dragon, causing it to spew a mouthful of blood. The colossal beast was immediately thrown backward with great force. As the golden dragon was knocked back and spitting blood, Ji Xiantian's figure vanished in an instant. Immediately, the bubbles surrounding Wu Dongchan's body burst with a loud bang, and a depression, as if punched, appeared on Wu Dongchan's chest. He spat out blood, and the sound of cracking bones echoed from within his body. His figure was sent spiraling backward, his eyes filled with shock. But it was not over. Almost at the same moment the golden dragon and Wu Dongchan were sent flying. 3 purple wooden strips appeared before Elder Imu, accompanied by the sound of a powerful hum. They spun rapidly, closing in on every possible opening. However, Ji Xiantian's speed was too fast. Even as the 3 wooden strips spun, he found a gap, and with unimaginable speed, his fist pierced through and struck directly at Elder Imu. Blood trickled from Elder Imu's mouth, and his body staggered back suddenly. Meanwhile, at Qin Shui's side, numerous ripples appeared in front of him. His left eye flashed with a sharp gleam as his body seemed to be pushed back, retreating quickly. The further he retreated, the more intense the ripples became. Moments later, with a resounding bang, Qin Shui's face went pale as he retreated even faster. All of this happened in the blink of an eye, so fast that neither divine sense nor the naked eye could capture Ji Xiantian's impossible speed. Moreover, due to the sealing power of this void, the primordial energy in everyone's bodies was continuously draining. With Ji Xiantian's relentless assault, their cultivation levels dropped rapidly. At Wong Lin's side, he couldn't even see Ji Xiantian's figure. He immediately felt a gust of wind blow in his face, and a massive force descended on him from the front in an instant. However, Wong Lin was not panicked. At the moment the force hit, he turned his body and, relying on his ancient god physique's strange intuition, he clenched his left fist and struck the empty space. Boom! A deafening explosion erupted, and Wong Lin was forced to stagger back, his face pale, with blood dripping from the corner of his mouth. Yet, for the first time, Ji Xiantian's figure was forced back, retreating 2 steps. The look in his eyes as he gazed at Wong Lin was one of surprise. He has no primordial energy in his body and is not bound by the seal here. Moreover, he excels in physical strength. If the senior experts do not join forces to eliminate him, we will be in great danger. Wong Lin said in a deep voice as he staggered backward. Shut up, brat. The golden dragon's body flickered, and 5 paper talismans fused with its body, emitting a strange light. The 5 elements Qi immediately surrounded it, but instead of charging toward Ji Xiantian, it shot straight toward Wong Lin. The 5 elements Qi spun rapidly, and with a roar from the golden dragon, 5 blazing streams of energy formed and rushed toward Wong Lin from all directions. Cold light flashed in Wong Lin's eyes. Knowing he could not escape the golden dragon's divine abilities, he immediately reached for his storage pouch. The spirit of mystic treasure elder appeared in his hand, and he prepared to crush it. Take one more step, and I will destroy this primordial spirit. The 5 elements, Qi suddenly came to a halt. The golden dragon's eyes widened in fury. If not for the rapid depletion of its primordial energy and the injury from Ji Xiantian's previous attack, it would not have allowed itself to be threatened. But now, its anger was surging. Far away, Ji Xiantian smiled mysteriously. His body suddenly disappeared. Elder Imu's expression changed, and he began to retreat. But his speed was far too slow. The sounds of violent explosions echoed around him, and with each echo, he was slammed by a tremendous force. His divine abilities, too, were too slow to execute, and before he could cast them, they shattered. The most frustrating part for Elder Imu was that, as he tried to use his abilities, they were greatly weakened by the void. The true power of his techniques could not be fully unleashed, or he would not have been in such a miserable state. His primordial energy continued to drain rapidly, and in the blink of an eye, his cultivation had dropped from the peak to the late pure nirvana stage. In that instant, Elder Emu no longer cared about the draining energy. Without thinking, he spread his arms and shouted, "Emu, one world." The 3 purple wooden strips around his body immediately shattered, turning into sparkling points of light that spread out in all directions. As they extended, they formed a self-contained world, sealing off an area of 100 paces. But Ji Xiantian was even faster. The moment the seal was placed, he took a step back, his speed so fast that he had vanished almost immediately. Enough. First, kill this obviously controlled Ji Xiantian before doing anything else. Wu Dongchan's face darkened. His cultivation had also significantly fallen, and with a low shout, he stepped forward. At once, countless bubbles appeared around his body, and, under his control, they moved with him, heading straight for Elder Emu. Void of Annihilation. Wu Dongchan formed a seal with his right hand and pointed forward. Instantly, the bubbles around him doubled, from 1 to 2, then from 2 to 4. In the blink of an eye, they became countless, spreading in all directions. At that moment, one bubble suddenly shattered. Wu Dongchan's eyes flashed as his divine sense swept across. All the bubbles around him immediately condensed at that very instant. Explode. The sound of explosions reverberated. Elder Emu, whose face was darkened, swung his right sleeve. In front of him, a massive tree materialized, and with a powerful motion of his sleeve, it hurtled forward. A powerful shockwave instantly spread outward. At the same time, the golden dragon let out a muffled grunt. Its enormous body twisted and tumbled, but Ji Xiantian's figure appeared, completely unscathed, close to the golden dragon's body, repeatedly punching it. The golden dragon roared in retreat, swinging its massive head. Its entire body coiled and lunged forward, opening its mouth to devour. But just as it did, its sharp dragon teeth shattered in a deafening crash. Ji Xiantian laughed madly as he retreated. His eyes glowed with intensity as he spoke in a strange language that no one except Wong Lin could understand. "Today, none of you will escape." As he retreated, Ji Xiantian's figure disappeared once more. Wong Lin, with a calm expression, clenched his right fist and without hesitation, struck forcefully beside him. With a loud bang, Wong Lin was forced back, but Ji Xiantian was also forced to reveal his position. Qing Shui quickly approached, forming a seal with his right hand and pointing into the void. Immediately, a powerful black wind howled, morphing into 8 black dragons that spread in all directions. Roaring, they charged at Ji Xiantian. Ji Xiantian gave a strange smile, and just as the black dragons closed in, he vanished once again. But as he was about to leave, Wong Lin's eyes glinted with strange light. A phantom of the ancient god cauldron appeared around his body. With a sudden movement, he vanished, reappearing just as Ji Xiantian retreated. After appearing, the ancient god cauldron still hovered around him. Without hesitation, Wong Lin punched forward. Ji Xiantian immediately spun around, raising his right hand to strike forward. The two collided with a mighty impact. With a thunderous crash, Wong Lin spat out a mouthful of blood and staggered back. However, Ji Xiantian also took several steps backward. In that instant, Qing Shui formed a seal with both hands, and with a single point of his finger, countless raindrops appeared, transforming into arrows of rain, flying straight toward Ji Xiantian. Ji Xiantian sneered, his body flashing as he prepared to escape. Wong Lin's eyes flashed coldly, and he roared, "Senior brother, lend me your immortal essence." With that, he pointed fiercely forward and shouted, "Freeze." As the words left his mouth, all of Wong Lin's remaining primordial energy and immortal essence surged, flowing into his right hand, merging with the void. At the same time, Qing Shui made no delay, quickly tapping the air with his hand, sending half of his own immortal essence into Wong Lin's body. The energy that entered Wong Lin's body was overwhelming. It rushed out of his right hand in a powerful burst. The body immobilization art was executed in an incredibly intense manner for the first time. Its power was greater than ever before. With the word freeze, Ji Xiantian's figure was instantly suspended in the void. In the distance, Elder Emu quickly advanced. The surrounding void was sealed, preventing any teleportation, but his speed was not slow. Before he even got close, he formed a seal with his hands, and without hesitation, the phantom tree in front of him spun rapidly, growing smaller until it transformed into a wooden sword. The wooden sword shot forward like lightning, aimed directly at Ji Xiantian's head. With a series of bangs, the entire sword pierced into Ji Xiantian's body. It exploded with a deafening roar, shattering into countless pieces of wood imbued with divine powers, as Ji Xiantian's body broke apart. At the same moment, Wu Dongchan, seeing Ji Xiantian frozen in place, waved his sleeves. A burst of primordial spirit energy shot out, transforming into a series of multicolored bubbles that quickly surrounded Ji Xiantian and exploded violently. And the golden dragon, filled with hatred, let out an enraged roar. The power of the 5 elements filled the air, and from its front, the energy twisted together, forming a phantom crown. The crown shot forward at incredible speed, heading straight for Ji Xiantian's head. As the 3 powerful beings attacked simultaneously, Ji Xiantian roared, struggling, but it was too late. The combined force of the wooden sword, the bubbles, and the crown struck with explosive power, causing Ji Xiantian's body to collapse completely. As countless bits of flesh and blood scattered in all directions, Wong Lin's eyes gleamed with an ancient hunger that hadn't been seen in millennia. The ancient god cauldron hovered around him as he swiftly closed in on the crumbling Ji Xiantian. In the blink of an eye, he bit the tip of his tongue, spitting out a mouthful of ancient god blood. Strange sounds echoed from his mouth, but in the next instant, he opened his mouth and sucked wildly. Power inheritance. Within the collapsing flesh of Ji Xiantian, there was a purple star the size of a fist, emitting a soft glow and containing an ancient god's power. At the same time, Elder Imu and Wu Dongchan's eyes glowed with an eerie light as they rushed toward the purple star. However, after the previous battle, the primordial energy within their bodies had almost run out, and their cultivation had dropped to the glimpse of Nirvana stage. They rushed forward from 2 different directions, aiming to seize the purple star. A crazed look appeared in Wong Lin's eyes. The moment they reached for it, a loud bang echoed from his body. His entire form expanded by more than double, and he swallowed the ancient god star whole. The instant he consumed the star, an unimaginable, overwhelming power erupted within him. His body made intense cracking sounds as he was forced to retreat wildly. Energy surged throughout his body, a sense of extreme strength filling him, as if everything before him would disappear with a single punch. With a long howl, Wong Lin's retreating body suddenly changed. The cracking noises grew louder as his body wildly expanded, and in an instant, he transformed into a giant over 30 meters tall. A powerful aura flooded the void, and the ancient god star hidden above his brow condensed, turning from the previous 3.5 stars into a true 4-star mark. This was a true 4-star. The legacy of the ancient god 2C from the royal clan of the ancient god tribe. It was a 4-star far different from any ordinary ancient gods. The cracking sounds within Wong Lin's body became even more intense as he expanded to over 100 meters tall. A pressure filled with terrifying force swept out in all directions. Elder Imu and Wu Dongchan's eyes widened in shock as they stared at Wong Lin. With a firm fist, Wong Lin laughed aloud, the sensation of wielding the power of heaven and earth making him brim with confidence. He suddenly turned, his massive body brushing past Elder Imu and Wu Dongchan, closing in on the stunned golden dragon. The golden dragon had suffered numerous blows and used its divine abilities multiple times. With the current seal in place and its primordial energy greatly depleted, its cultivation had dropped to the early glimpse of Nirvana stage. As Wong Lin's enormous form took a step forward, the golden dragon's body shrank sharply, instantly transforming into a human shape. Wearing a dragon robe, the man quickly stepped back, performing hand seals. The 5 elements paper talisman above his forehead spun rapidly, and he shouted, "Poisonous flame." As the words left his mouth, one of the 5 talismans ignited with ghostly fire, releasing a green flame that carried immense poison and spread towards Wong Lin. Wong Lin's expression was cold. At this moment, he was no longer a mere cultivator, but an ancient god who had inherited the power of inheritance and the memory inheritance. A 4-star royal ancient god. Despite the fact that all his avatar's power was sealed, only his ancient god power remained. The strength of a 4-star ancient god was more than enough to annihilate this golden dragon. The poisonous flame surged toward him, deadly to any cultivator. Yet, to an ancient god, it was trivial. The moment Wong Lin closed in, his massive fist came crashing down. With a sonic boom, his punch collided, and the green flames were extinguished almost as soon as they appeared. Vast green smoke billowed out and was swiftly blown away. The man in the dragon robe's face changed drastically. He quickly formed a seal with his right hand, pointing forward as he yelled, "Tribute water. Broken gold. Punishing wood. Burial earth." At a shout, the 5 paper talismans above his forehead flashed, and a large blue ocean appeared out of nowhere, sweeping toward Wong Lin. This ocean was the tribute water, containing immense force. As it swept toward him, it roared like thunder. But it was nothing before Wong Lin's 4-star ancient god punch. The ocean collapsed the instant it hit, turning into countless droplets of water, for while the tribute water was powerful, Wong Lin's punch was several times stronger. How could it not be shattered? As the tribute water disintegrated, a flash of golden light appeared, transforming into a sword made of dragon scales. The sword screeched as it rushed toward Wong Lin. With a loud bang, Wang Lin's fist collided with the dragon-scaled sword, causing it to tremble. It began to crack from the tip, the impact violently tearing apart the scales. Behind the dragon-scaled sword, a massive black tree followed, exuding a strong smell of blood, and within it were countless immortal souls. As it neared, the tree let out a mournful scream, and ripples of energy swept toward Wong Lin. After the punishment wood, a vast expanse of black soil transformed into a black storm, swirling the burial earth and charging toward Wong Lin. Wong Lin's expression remained indifferent. His right fist showed no sign of hesitation as it struck the punishment wood. With a loud bang, the wood split in two, yet it failed to stop even a fraction of the force. At the same time, the black storm formed from the endless burial earth collapsed with a thunderous roar as the punishment wood shattered. Nothing could stop Wong Lin's punch from the 4-star royal ancient god. Crushing the 5 elements in succession, this punch landed directly in front of the dragon robe man. With a deafening roar, the man spewed a mouthful of blood, his body violently recoiling. All of this occurred in a mere instant. To Elder Imu and the others, it seemed as if Wong Lin's massive form had merely taken one step and thrown one punch, and the dragon robe man was already spitting blood and retreating. From the dragon robe man, sounds of violent thuds emerged, and a large cloud of blood mist erupted. If this had been outside, with his cultivation still intact, it would have been nearly impossible for Wong Lin to injure him. But here, Wong Lin had all the advantages. The dragon robe man's cultivation was severely sealed, forcing him to retreat. Indifferently, Wong Lin took a step forward. This time, as his right foot lifted, he kicked out directly. The dragon robe man's face turned ashen, and his eyes revealed intense unwillingness. As he retreated, he formed a hand seal and shouted, "5 elements power." As soon as the words left his mouth, 5 paper talismans above his head began to rapidly spin. The 5 elements of energy released from them, forming an illusory crown before him. The 5 elements power expanded, charging straight at Wong Lin. Wong Lin's eyes flashed as his large hand reached out into the air. Despite his expanded size, his storage pouch remained on him. Though small in comparison to his body, it was still accessible. Grabbing it, Wong Lin immediately pulled out a crown. The moment the crown appeared, the dragon robe man's expression changed drastically. In disbelief, he cried out, "Dragon Venerable's 5 elements crown. How could you possibly have this item? And it even has a soul." His expression grew frantic as he abandoned all divine arts, retreating at full speed. At the same time, he slapped his storage pouch, and a wooden tablet appeared in his hand, which he immediately crushed. The wooden tablet transformed into thick smoke, seemingly opening a passage in the void. The dragon robe man staggered and was about to enter it. But just as he was about to escape, Wong Lin's crown immediately flew out. As it spun, multicolored light emanated from it, within which a rose materialized. It bloomed, and a woman's illusory figure appeared out of thin air. This woman exuded pride, her beauty unparalleled. After materializing, she pointed at the retreating dragon robe man with her jade-like finger. The moment she did, the dragon robe man let out a horrible scream. His body could no longer escape, as if being pulled. He transformed into a streak of golden light, and in the blink of an eye, was sucked into the crown. The stunning woman turned around, looked at Wong Lin for a moment, and opened her mouth as though she was about to speak. However, no sound came from her, and she gradually faded away. This scene shocked not only Elder Imu and the others but even Wong Lin. His heart shook, but he remained calm. He silently collected the crown and turned around, coldly staring at Elder Imu and Wu Donchan. To Wong Lin, these two no longer posed a threat. Their cultivation was severely sealed and was still being suppressed. Wong Lin then shifted his gaze toward the distant moon gaze, whose ancient god aura was unmistakable. He opened his mouth and let out a roar. His colossal form let out a roar that was just as powerful as moon gazes. This roar, the voice of an ancient god, shook the very heavens. Even though they were in the void, it felt as if nothing could halt the roar of an ancient god. Endless thunder roared to life, creating massive sonic booms that reverberated around him, transforming into shockwaves that scattered in all directions. This roar carried the ancient god's language within it. Its meaning was clear and simple: challenge. Every young ancient god, upon reaching adulthood, had to challenge someone from within their clan. This was an ancient custom of the ancient god clan, and Wong Lin, who possessed 2C's memory inheritance, was well aware of this. In the ancient god clan, from 3 stars to 4 stars, one needed the aura of a mature ancient god. Without it, one could never reach this level. Once they achieved 4 stars, it signified that the ancient god had reached maturity, and this maturity meant challenge. His roar was meant to inform the ancient god within Moongaze that Wong Lin was here to challenge him. As Wong Lin's roar echoed out, Moongaze, too, let out a tremendous growl. His massive mouth opened wide, and countless tendrils shot out, wrapping around a figure within. This figure, if it were an ordinary cultivator, would be no larger than an average person. But above his brow were 5 blurry star points rotating. He was bound by the tendrils, staring at Wong Lin. "My clansman, I accept your challenge for adulthood." The moment the 5-star ancient god spoke, the tentacles entwining his body instantly released him. He stepped forward, 3 strides in total. With the first step, his body suddenly expanded, reaching 30 zhang in height as a powerful aura erupted from him. Taking the second step, he transformed into a giant 100 zhang tall, radiating an ancient, time-worn presence. On the third step, his body surged once more, reaching over 300 zhang, like a divine being descending from the heavens. Before coming here, he had been dispatched by the clan elder and had studied the moon-gazing beast in great detail, making thorough preparations. Though he was inwardly shaken, he didn't forget his mission. As the 5-star ancient god stepped out of the Moonview Maw and its massive mouth began to close, he didn't hesitate. He dashed forward. Rushing toward the Moonview Maw, his cultivation had fallen drastically, but his speed remained swift. In a blink, he entered the Maw and vanished. Wu Dongchan's expression grew complicated. He had once chanced upon an ancient cultivation alliance text that revealed the moon-gazing beast's true nature. Within it, there was said to be a thing known as lunar essence. The records claimed that if one could obtain the moon-gazing beast's lunar essence, they could refine it into a subvoid nirvana-grade magical artifact. If I acquire it and craft such a treasure, I could take the place of the mystic treasure elder within the cultivation alliance. Clenching his jaw, he too gave chase. Following Elderimu, he darted into the moon-gazing beast just as its giant maw closed behind them. Only Qing Shui remained outside, frowning as he silently watched Wong Lin and the towering 5-star ancient god. "Clan Kin, my name is Luo Chen," declared the 5-star ancient god. Ancient light shone from his eyes as he stepped forward. His right hand didn't clench into a fist. Instead, he slammed it forward. With a thunderous boom, a massive handprint materialized from Luo Chen's right hand and hurtled toward Wong Lin. Wong Lin's eyes narrowed. The handprint resembled the sigil from the Renegade Immortal world, yet it held a distinct difference. As it roared down upon him, Luo Chen's enormous hand followed close behind. Wong Lin inhaled deeply. The 4 stars at his brow began to spin, and he raised his right hand toward the sky, chanting in the ancient god tongue. Reaching the 4-star stage of the ancient god meant one could finally wield ancient god divine arts. Wong Lin had waited a very long time for this moment. Instantly, a vast vortex swirled open in the void before him. "Ancient god weapon," Wong Lin roared. Purple lightning crackled within the vortex, and a long spear suddenly shot out. It was illusory, almost intangible, formed entirely of purple lightning. Wong Lin seized it and swept it forward in one clean motion, slamming it against the incoming handprint. The impact thundered across the sky, and shockwaves blasted outward. The giant handprint was sliced cleanly in 2. Yet in the next instant, Luo Chen grasped Wong Lin's spear. With a squeeze, thunder rumbled from within, and with cracking sounds, the spear shattered. Wong Lin took a step forward. Though his physique was far smaller than Luo Chen's, a powerful aura surged from him. He clenched his right fist and launched a punch. Luo Chen's gaze grew slightly conflicted. In the past, he had used up one of his stars to forge Ji Xiantian into a puppet, a choice born of desperation. Though he now stood outside the moon-gazing beast, a deep sorrow still weighed on him. Sometimes, he couldn't even tell whether he was Luo Chen or the moon-gazing beast itself. After countless years, he had become one with the moon-gazing beast. Its influence muddled his thoughts. In his own eyes, he no longer deserved the title of ancient god, merely a puppet of the moon-gazing beast. Toward Wong Lin, he had always felt torn, caught between inheritance and consumption. Ji Xiantian had been a product of that inner conflict, given up willingly, perhaps more as a gesture, offering a single star to Wong Lin. Now, Chen exhaled deeply and clenched his own fist, throwing a punch in return. With a loud bang, Wong Lin felt a numbing jolt run through his right arm and staggered backward. Chen also retreated several steps, and the 5-star marks at his brow grew even more blurred. Wong Lin had challenged Chen precisely because he knew, even if Chen wasn't an ancient god infant, even if he were a true mature ancient god, he was incredibly weakened. The hazy star marks on Chen's brow proved this. In contrast, Wong Lin's 4 stars were almost tangible, emitting a strange light. More importantly, Wong Lin belonged to the royal clan. Ordinary ancient gods might grow stronger by absorbing one of Chen's stars, stronger than Wong Lin, even. But against royal divine abilities, that strength meant nothing. The royal clan were true sovereigns among the ancient gods. Not only could they wield royal divine abilities, they also possessed royal artifacts. As he retreated, Wong Lin stomped his right foot and shot forward, charging at Chen. The two clashed again, exchanging a flurry of powerful blows. The rippling waves echoed, and the thunderous roars spread across the void. The battle between the two had begun with Wong Lin at a disadvantage, but before long, he became more and more determined with each fight. The 4-star ancient god power was gradually becoming familiar to Wong Lin during the ongoing battle. Every time he swung a punch, it would stir up winds as fierce as a giant wave, with the power of the ancient gods contained within. This made the fight with Chen even more intense. With a booming sound, the two separated. Wong Lin stepped back, raising his hand, his eyes shining with a sharp light. The ancient god tongue echoed from his mouth, and immediately behind him, a phantom appeared, an enormous ancient god towering tens of thousands of feet high. With a roar, it charged towards Chen. Chen's eyes darkened with a more complex expression. Raising his hand, a phantom also appeared behind him. This shadow was far larger than the one Wong Lin summoned, resembling a true giant, seemingly appearing from nowhere. But this giant was far from majestic. It was bloated and resembled the moon gazer rather than an ancient god. What was even more terrifying was that the giant was clad in armor. The very sight of it, even just in terms of its aura, could crush the spirit of any ordinary cultivator. With a roar, the armored giant charged forward, and once again, Wong Lin and Chen clashed. The sound of their strikes echoed as their phantoms also battled in the background. Laughing wildly, Wong Lin raised his left hand, recalling the treasures of the ancient gods from his memories, particularly 2C's magical artifact, the god-laying spear. Muttering the ancient god tongue, Wong Lin, now wielding the 4-star ancient god power, was unable to manifest 2C's original artifact, but he could still create an illusion of it. As Wong Lin grasped the air, vast red mist appeared in front of him. The mist swirled and gathered quickly in his palm, condensing in a flash into a 100-foot-long spear, the god-laying spear. The spear, 100 feet long and a foot in diameter, radiated endless red light. It was the weapon of the ancient god clan, known for its deadly power. The moment it appeared, even the void began to twist. As the god's-laying spear swept across the void, a large net-like formation appeared. This net was none other than the absolute void formation, a seal that confined the void. Originally, this formation should not have appeared, but under the swing of the god's-laying spear, it took form. The god's-laying spear was a divine artifact that only royal families could wield. Every ancient god royal, upon reaching maturity, would obtain one of these long-established weapons, which would be passed down through generations. However, only the royal family could use them. Chen's eyes grew even more complex as he gazed at Wong Lin's god-laying spear. He had long suspected that Wong Lin's ancient god heritage was of high rank. He also speculated that Wong Lin had inherited the royal bloodline and had cultivated his own ancient god powers. But when he saw the god's-laying spear for the first time, his suspicions were confirmed, and he knew who Wong Lin's inheritance came from. 2C. I didn't expect even he would fall to the void. Chen sighed deeply. The complexity in his eyes faded, replaced by a softness. 2C's inheritors, let me see what kind of power you can bring out from this illusory god's-laying spear. Chen, as if releasing a burden, laughed heartily. He raised his right hand, and suddenly, his right arm's bones began to squirm. Bone spikes protruded from his skin, and in an instant, his entire right arm was covered in them. These bone spikes grew wildly, quickly reaching nearly 100 feet in length, crossing in front of him to form an incredibly bizarre and fierce weapon. Wong Lin grasped the illusory god-slaying spear, and a surge of battle intent rose within him. Holding the spear, he felt as though he had become 2C himself. At that moment, his focus was entirely on Luo Chen. "I am the ancient god, Wong Lin." Wong Lin stepped forward, swinging the god-laying spear. With each swing, the void in front of him was immediately filled with a massive net-like formation. The net was an illusion, clearly spreading across the entire void. Luo Chen laughed heartily, advancing as well. His right arm, transformed into a spiked weapon, swung out to directly clash with Wong Lin's god-laying spear. With a thunderous roar, the two collided. The sounds of their strikes echoed, and the void itself began to fill with the same net-like formations as they fought. Wong Lin's eyes burned with battle intent. As they fought, he hurled the god-laying spear forward. He formed a diamond shape with his hands, his thumb and index finger touching, and chanted, "God-Layer Seal." The God-Layer Seal, one of the ancient god clan's divine abilities, was unique to the royal bloodline. The god-laying spear shot forward like lightning, aimed directly at Luo Chen, while at the same time, Wong Lin activated the God-Layer Seal. A massive diamond-shaped symbol appeared before him and shot forward with a flash. Luo Chen laughed maniacally and shouted, "Good." With a wave of his right hand, he directly collided with the god-laying spear. The resulting explosion rang out with an earth-shattering sound. As the God-Layer Seal approached, it immediately stirred up an unimaginable storm in this void. The storm swept across, spreading wildly in this void. Soon, large areas of a web-like formation took shape. Amidst the flickering light, two eerie glows suddenly lit up beneath the net. The eerie glow radiated cold, merciless intent. Piercing through the flickering web, it seemed as though it were looking outward, staring at this place. Moon gaze. Ancient God.